Hey everyone, I just got off a call and this is not personal to the person on the call. I think it's just a really good example of how well-meaning people are not disrupting, right? Different westernized ways of thinking and the norm about how we should react after tragedies in the United States. And so anytime I'm on a call and something has happened in the country that impacts people in a demographic group, I try to take the time to acknowledge, just take the time to pause and acknowledge, right, that for many it's not business as usual. And so I did that in this meeting, and the response was, we could argue that it hasn't been business as usual for the last 2 years. And what we try to teach people at I Follow the Leader is to have a yes and response instead of a yes but response. And so that response was a yes but we've been going through, right, the pandemic for the past 2 years. And so a yes and response would have been, yes, there has been a lot going on in the last 2 weeks, and we're so excited for those who were able to make it today, because what we're doing is hopefully going to help our communities. And so this is a way we can be solution oriented. So I just wanted to share that experience. You all know I am the courage curator, and I like to share with you some of the courageous things that I do in my everyday life that are uncomfortable. We're on a call with 20 people. The events of the last 2 weeks were not acknowledged at the start of the call. And so I know it is a bit disruptive for me to interrupt the meeting to acknowledge the past 2 weeks. However, we don't know who on that call could have known one of the victims, be close to one of the victims, going through trauma because of it. And so I think it's so important to pause, because we don't know what people are going through. And someone actually messaged me immediately after. And so I want to read you what they said. I have too many tabs open, but someone private messaged me after I just shared, want to acknowledge what's going on in our country. And they said, "Thank you for that acknowledgement. It has been a struggle to get back to business with constant terror in the nation." And so I want to encourage you, when you go on meetings and things have been happening in our world, it doesn't have to be, right, 10 minutes. I only spoke for 30 seconds, but acknowledgement is also showing courage. It's helping to have courageous conversations. And so we cannot choose silence and apathy when, as this person shared, there's been constant terror in the nation. So change agents, leaders, I implore you, acknowledge what is going on in our country. Acknowledge it. Pause and do not go with the business as usual mindset. Children have been murdered. An Asian doctor in California has been murdered. Black people have been murdered going to the grocery store. Teachers have been murdered over the last 2 weeks. These are people's moms, fathers, grandparents, co-workers, support systems. Let's not take mass murders as business as usual. Let's pause, reflect, and have the courage to challenge traditional and Western ways of thinking that we just ignore, we just go on, and we don't acknowledge the pain and suffering that so many people in this country are feeling. I appreciate you. Let's continue to cultivate courage. It's a daily practice, I send out daily texts and would love for you to be a part of that. I'll put the information in the comments. This is what being a courage curator, I've decided that's what I am, and this is what it's about. I hope this was helpful for you. And I'm thinking of you. Let's take the time to pause. If you haven't listened to today's episode of Conversations with I Follow the Leader, our podcast, we started with the acknowledgement and then went into the conversation, which is about restoration and wellness and healing through movement. So check that out and just let me know if I can be a resource to you. If you want to learn, how do I do this? How do I acknowledge and have these courageous conversations when it may not be uplifted in your organization just because people are not used to it? We are having a community conversation tomorrow at I Follow the Leader. I hope to see you there. We're doing another one on June 10th because a lot of people have been treating it as business as usual, and we want to create a space for you. Maybe you have had to just keep going and nobody's talked about it in your workplace over the past 2 weeks. We want to provide that space for you. It does require registration so we can make sure we're screening and that this is a psychologically safe place. So go to ifollowtheleader.com/C5, ifollowtheleader.com, C as in cat, 5. I'll put that information in the comments too. Hope to see you there. Keep being courageous. We need more caring and courageous change agents to push the pace of progress and disrupt the status